So Phil, first of all, thanks a lot for joining us. I think this is the first time we've managed to properly sit down and have a real good chat, isn't it, since you're in the club, so I'm sure there'll be many supporters looking forward to this. I guess the first thing I'm going to have to come to it is obviously last season and the title win. So how do you sort of view last season's title win, and sort of you set objectives at the start of the season and you achieved them? You must be buzzing with that.
Crikey, there's about I could talk forever, Bron, and hello, Bron. Yes, you've managed to pin me down. Last season, what a year to remember. I mean, the coaches have spoken about the heartache of Wembley in the playoffs, and I think it was just the timing of all that. I'm losing my voice now, like Mr. Cook with the pollen. But then we set off pre-season. You know, the boys went away, the coaches went away. From day minus 50, we set ourselves up. The day after Wembley, we set up for what we wanted to try and achieve. Paul and his staff, I think, got what they wanted. We talked about where we were going to spend the money and what money we had, and we chose to spend good money on the training ground, which I think has paid enormous dividends. We've seen that with injuries and the players in the squad, what playing time we've got. But I look back, what a tremendous season. Just lots of memories, but a bit of a blur, and I already feel like we're moving on to next season, which just seems incredible. I'll remember, the win here where we sealed the championship, slightly crazy.
I think it was.
It was indeed a slightly crazy 48 hours, of which I can remember most, and there's probably a few of the squad are a little hazy on some of the details as well. But a great celebration. Then coming through to the end of the season at the Town Hall, seeing all those supporters, and I think, you know, that's what touches me most. You know, I am a Chesterfield man. I'm a Chesterfield boy, and to see the pleasure and on people's faces, young and old, in some ways a relief, but actually joy, and to have the honour of being able to walk around town or even in shops or in a pub and have people thank me and my brother. I mean, that has been tremendous. That has been so nice, and very, very proud of it. But down at Paul, the coaches, his staff and the players, we just sort of helped and cheered along with the rest of them, all 8,000, which is another fantastic statistic for last season.
Absolutely.
Thanks to all of them, we're in it together.
Yeah, spot on. Good words there, Phil. I think that the next thing I want to move on to is obviously your personal involvement with the club. So yourself, you obviously are sort of away from the club on a weekly basis, aren't you? Sort of not living in Chesterfield, and it's obviously your brother Ashley that's sort of here all the time. So I guess for the supporters, you know, how do you personally keep in contact with the club, and sort of how often are you regularly checking what's going on a week-to-week basis?
Well, I mean, quite a few people will know when I first put a bit of money in with Ash, we thought it would be a nice way to keep a bit closer, to see more of each other, to go to some football, have a few beers, and wouldn't that be lovely? I think Ash is now working 5 or 6 days a week, depending on matches, at least. And I think even yesterday the gaffer rang him at 6:30 in the morning, which shows how much we're in touch with Paul and the team as they headed off to pre-season through the chaos at Manchester Airport. But I speak to my brother all the time. He speaks to me. I'm lucky that my brother is somebody who I can trust with my life and definitely my money. That's easy. So we agree on 95% plus, and have had enough miles over the years that we can talk about the other 5% and find a good way through without anybody having the toys out of the pram. We don't really have any ego between us, so it works really well. It just reminds me every now and again, when I said it'd be like one day a month and it'd be a lot of fun, he often will ring and say, "I'm still in work," which does cause some amusement. We talk all the time. I love spending time up here, but I am based down south. But that gives us a different perspective. You know, Ash is close now to the staff, the team, the squad, what's happening here, and I think making a difference, an evolution, as Paul would say, not a revolution. And that is positive, but having me been able to stand back a little bit and take a different view sometimes is good for both of us.
And how do you assess your ownership of the club so far then? You know, have you enjoyed it?
Have I enjoyed it? Yeah, I've got to say I've enjoyed it. Yes, absolutely, and it has been an honour. I tell you, one of the main things that strikes me, and this makes me smile, is people talk about fan-owned clubs, which was Chesterfield, and I was in with the trust, and I was in with the supporters the first time around with what money you could afford. But I do still think we're fan-owned because I'm a fan, and in a way, it's just I didn't have much money 30 or whatever 40 years ago, and now through a bit of luck and some hard work, I've got some money, and wow, I can help my football team. And the conversations, you know, I hope the fans will be reassured to know that we talk quite often about the 10 or 20 year view, where the club will be. And, you know, if I go under a bus or Ash goes under a bus, you know, now, how would we manage those sorts of things happening? And it is, you know, it's an evolution, not a revolution. But it's given me enormous pleasure. Huge pleasure. The time with the squad, the trophy, winning the trophy, being able to look back at some of the dark times and think, I nearly swore I'd be in trouble with my mum if I saw it, but just think, yes, we've got through that and back in the league. Let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, well, that brings me on quite nicely, to be fair, to what are your sort of personal goals whilst being sort of the owner of Chesterfield Football Club, and what's your long-term vision for the Spireyes?
Right, Ash has made me promise not to say something, so I'm not allowed to talk about the Championship or any higher divisions.
Absolutely.
Can't say anything about that. But yeah, from day one, or from month maybe about 6, when we realised that the club needs a little bit more help, that the trust had done some great work, but actually it needed money and it needed a little bit more discipline in a few areas. That's always been aim number one. Club on a good standing. Original aim was to put some money in and help Paul get promotion when he came on board. I think we've achieved that, and I think we've helped Paul build a squad that can deliver in the next league. But as we talk to him, it's step by step. You know, we all hope we get straight promotion. But I think to expect that would be a little bit arrogant and a little bit against the run of how these things normally work. I think we should expect a season of consolidation, and if things go well or we go on a run, well, who knows? But as I look at Chesterfield as got favourites to be champions, I mean, it's a little bit early. We're still jumping out of this league, so I know over the next couple of months, making sure everything's okay for the EFL. There's a lot to do. It was only a few years ago that we were in the league, but there's a few things have changed. We've got to dust a few things down and sort a few things in the back office. But we are talking with Paul and the rest of the board about where the club might get to in 4 or 5 years' time, and trying to set ourselves up for that success. And we'll look more at what the trust has been doing, which has been great work in the community, about how that fits in with the academy, with the junior teams, with the women's and the girls' teams, and how close the club is with those teams, and how we can build on the club's success for the town.
Would it be fair to say, though, that Phil and Ashley Kirk are here to sort of make Chesterfield succeed long term and not just short term?
Absolutely, Bron. No, absolutely. This cannot be boom or bust. We've all had that with Chesterfield over the years. We've had some great seasons. We've had some trips down at Wembley where we've won, and we've some trips down at Wembley where we've lost. And after some of those trips, the cupboard was bare and all hell broke loose the next year. And we don't want those seasons anymore. We want continual improvement. Is what we want. Consolidation and improvement, and never go back to any of those dark days. That's the game. And people talk about Ash and I as businessmen. We are businessmen, but we're not in this to make money. We're in this for the town and ourselves to have a club that we're really proud of, that lasts the test of time. Which may seem bizarre to people, and I'm not intending to lose all my money on Chesterfield Football Club, so anybody who thinks that, I'm not, and we won't waste money, but it is about investing for the future and to build the club.
No, good. I think that'll be sort of music to the ears of most Chesterfield supporters, won't it? So just talk to me about the upcoming season then. So first of all, how do you sort of view the expectations of the coming season? I know you've already touched on that a little bit, but then also if sort of we get through the season and maybe let's just say we get to January and Paul Cook's in need of some funding, are there sort of going to be funds available for Paul Cook to strengthen the squad?
Ash and I have spent a lot of time talking with Paul and his team, and we all understand where we are with budget and where we are with the number of players and the squad, and we're happy with that. Now, if bad things happen or people get injured, then we'll be able to bring other players into the squad. But numbers are limited under the registration rules and the budget rules, and there is some spare. We've had such great support and turnover has been great, and we put extra money in that we do have a little bit spare on the SCMP rules if we had to do anything more. But we're limited by the size of the squad. So, we're supportive. You'll have seen this, the fans will have seen the recruitment that Paul's done, the backroom team has done and chased after. That's all really positive. There's probably a little bit more work potentially to do, and we'll see. But we don't want to make mistakes. The 4 guys we brought in, we're really pleased with. We'll see how they fit through pre-season. It'll be exciting times. I think the gaffer will have some fun and games. Paul will have some fun and games picking his team sometimes, but it's going to be a long, hard season. There are plenty of games, the trophy, the League Cup, let alone the FA Cup, and we need to keep the squad and make sure we punch all the way through the season and see where we come. Now, I know Paul will have his expectations, and if everything went right, the squad is good enough to go straight through for promotion. But that doesn't always happen in the world. We should assume we'll have bad weather, we may have some injuries, and then we would all be pleased with a nice steady season, mid-table, and getting reacquainted with some of those teams that we've not played for a long while. And I'll be doing a lot more miles because they're all up north, bar 2 or 3. So I'll be hitting the motorway quite a bit. So,
yeah, spot on. The next one is about the stadium revamp. Obviously, there's been quite a lot going on at the stadium, hasn't there? The floodlights have been changed, PA system, the sort of dugout seats. So I guess what fans will probably want to know is sort of how do you view the sort of stadium revamp personally, and do you envisage any more stadium changes in the coming years? Is this something that you see as a project, this stadium, to try and improve it year on year?
That's a good question, Bron. We've got a great stadium, blessed with a fantastic stadium. People come and don't expect such a nice stadium. But as a lot of the fans will know, people who come regularly, there's still things we could improve. Back to that, continually improving. We can't do everything as a oneer. Wouldn't necessarily have the staff to be able to deliver it. We have a relatively short period where we can do stuff to the stadium, because otherwise there's always a game, which seems, it's a bizarre treadmill football where of 2 games a week generally, and you're always recovering and then getting ready for the next game. But we want, Ash has talked about, we want a stadium the town can be proud of. We want people to come here and see and be impressed by the stadium, the way we're set up. It's good with the stadium and the training ground, where we're looking to bring new players in. They can see we're a proper club with ambition, and we also want to have people to come and have a good day out. So, and we do look at it. I know it's football, and that's not akin to every entertainment, because some people are going to have tattoos and buy the shirt. But having a pitch that's good, having a ground that's in good condition, having a PA that can kick out some suitable sounds before and at half time, and then maybe after. I'm not sure we're going to do the goal music. Yeah. We've talked about that, but that's probably a step too far for us at the minute. Improve the floodlights. Mm-hmm. That floodlight, we have some England schoolboy internationals that have been here. I would imagine the floodlights is going to help that. It'll help attract other teams wanting to play here. People like the telly boys always like coming here because it's just off the M1. That's dead easy for them, and there's some nice hotels, nice countryside, and a few nice pubs if they like a drink. With better floodlighting, it'll be even more attractive, and that is part of the pitch. And we'll look at the sales pitch as opposed to the lovely green pitch that Josh has made a difference on, and we're also looking at things to improve the fan experience, as my brother talks about. We are looking at the food offering, we are looking at the catering side, and there will be some incremental changes that I hope the fans will be pleased with, and I hope they'll support. We've got great support with season tickets, enormous, huge. I think we're just bubbling around 5,300 season tickets at the moment, which is great, and they're all paid for, which we really appreciate. But if people actually then can like the food, can think they're getting good value on the drinks, whether that's alcoholic or whether it's soft drinks, then hopefully we will sell more, and that will ultimately help the club and the team.
Is it just another case then of sort of you and Ashley just being very determined to make sure that this club, is attractive? You want the people of Chesterfield, everybody, you want to see everybody in Chesterfield turn out and enjoy coming to watch the Spirites?
Absolutely, Bron. Yes. That barely needs answering. Yeah, absolutely. I know my brother is hugely proud of the club and of the town. I'm not really spoke about it, but when I packed up my last business, I got a little video done by all my offshore crews. They did it unbeknownst to me, and they bought about 120 blue shirts with Spirites on, and they had this video from all the offshore platforms, because they all knew that once I'd walked away from that business that I loved, the first thing I'd be doing was looking after my beloved Chesterfield, and here we go, living the dream.
So it's definitely fair to say that you're not bored of this ownership yet. You're buzzing for the future years.
No, and I think I'm buzzing for the future years, and really appreciate what people like in the trust and have done for the club to save the club through dark times, and we'll build on that and work with the trust and the community to continue this and be I hope to be a bit of a beacon for other people around the country as to this is how football should work. You can be successful, have a laugh, and some time with your friends and your family, and I hope be a good place to come.
And that is key for you, isn't it? You want it to be fun, you want it to be enjoyable for yourselves, but you want to do it in a sensible way.
Not do anything daft. We don't want to do anything daft with money. We don't want to lose too much money. which are then the club then gets into a rhythm of not losing money and being stupid, which sounds crazy, but if you can get that idea and identity and it sticks, then it'll stick for a long time, and maybe we can get into the swing of being successful. Paul and the team seem to manage it. We all and enjoy it. We all enjoy it as well, the town. So what a great thing to do.
And how important do you think Paul Cook is to Chesterfield Football Club and the long-term vision?
He is, Bron. He's really important. We get on tremendously well. He gets on really well with Ash, which is fantastic. You must ask him one day, but I know my feeling is he hugely enjoys it, and he's enjoying his football, and I look forward to working with Paul for a few more years. Absolutely. We'll see what mischief and what further success we can get up to together.
Fingers crossed. And then just finally from me then, Phil, is what would your message be to the supporters? Because this is probably the last time we're going to get a chance to sit down before the sort of season begins. So what would your message be to every Spire at home watching this, sort of your visions of the club and what you want to see from the supporters?
Thank you for everybody who turned up last year. Thank you to everybody who's already bought a season ticket. I know it's not necessarily easy for everybody to afford a season ticket, but thank you for doing that. Thanks to everybody who's already bought this season's kit. We will do our best to restock some away shirts, and we knew it was going to be successful, but didn't quite know it was going to be as successful as it's been. But thank you. We look forward to your support over the next season. Try and I hope you can get behind the team. I know we can. I know Chesterfield can. Give them some time. I think we're going to have a really good and exciting season, but it is a step above where we've been. And I know the squad are capable of managing that step up, but just give them a good shout for all of us and for the town, and let's see how we do. Because I know with the support of the crowd and the town, they'll do even better than without. So thank you. Thanks for coming.